7 o'clock. It's the day we've been waiting for. It's Friday, November 21. It came early this year, and boy, the life of being a ski bum combinations certainly have improved over the decades, have they not? We used to be under a table or something at Killington, and now we're in this beautiful resort. If I can find the door, I'm going out it. I haven't even looked out the door yet. Oh my goodness. All right, not too loud. There are people down there. Glorious. This is what it usually looks like after Christmas, not before Thanksgiving. You know where we are, right? That is the summit of Mount Mansfield in the cloud. The temperature here feels like it's about 19 degrees. There's no wind, but there is a front coming. So if you were with us last year, you know I have a corner unit where the icicles grow due to the sun melting the snow during the day, but there has not been any melting since the 3 feet of snow earlier in the week. And opening day features 59 trails, including the front four, I believe, right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh my goodness. So what's the weather doing? I want to kick this out really quickly because the lift isn't opening until 9 o'clock. I think I can do it. They've groomed lower gondolier. Now, the gondola is not going to be running today, but you can cut through over a nosedive and cut through a cliff trail, and lower gondolier is groomed and ready. That usually doesn't happen until like December. All right, so what's the weather doing? Well, it's going to precipitate on us here today. Here's the regional roundup this morning. And whenever you see Burlington, Vermont, 36, warmer than most in New England, you know that's called warm air advection. 36 in Burlington. Oh, I'm making a dog howl. I can hear. You can't. And it's the 27 in Buzzards Bay. So it's colder in Buzzards Bay in southeastern Massachusetts than it is in Burlington, Vermont. And this happens a lot when we have a cold spell that's going to end. And it's not going away. It's just going to be a brief thaw today, and we may actually get some not snow precipitation here at Mount Mansfield. The vertical profile at Mount Washington, though, does show pretty still cold air mass with 18 at the top and the 20s all the way down throughout, and there is a bit of an inversion, so I probably do have ice in my bucket back in Weymouth, but we're not in Weymouth, not distracted by boats or birds or planes or cats or dogs, so I can get right to the forecast. And let me tell you that Arizona Snow Bowl has had just as much snow as northern Vermont this week. Arizona Snow Bowl says 3 feet of snow, and it continues to snow this morning, and the only winter storm warning in the United States is in Southern California from the National Weather Service in San Diego. Yet another trough in the southwestern United States. It's been perpetual. It just keeps rebuilding itself and ejecting energy across the nation. And one such batch of energy is coming at us today and tonight. And it looked like a few days ago that it was going to get here and be a really warm, wet storm. But instead, the flow across Canada has sped up so much that there's precipitation right over northern New York this morning. So obviously, it's not hitting the ground here in northern Vermont, so some of it is virga, but we are going to get some light snowflakes here and maybe even a raindrop by this afternoon. Everything is moving so quickly, so why don't we just get to the high-res guidance in the short term here. Tomorrow, the rain forecast for southern New England is one of the hardest part of this. You get the Thanksgiving parade in Plymouth, Massachusetts, and last year we got poured on, and tomorrow it was looking good, bad, and then it was looking good, and now it's not looking so good again. So here it is, the high-res NAM, and there is our little bit of mixed precipitation coming through this morning. Clock in the upper left, 15Z, that's 10 o'clock in the morning, and precipitation in northern New England's with a evolving warm front, and then the cold front's not even here yet. The cold front's going to come in late in the day, and that's when we may see some snowflakes, but you get raindrops and snowflakes, just those light echoes mixed in northern New England, and then it's tonight that the green comes into southern New England. Now this rain, this is probably a worst case scenario if you're looking at Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Rhode Island, and there are actually some blue spots there in the precipitation tomorrow morning, 14, 15, 16Z, that's through midday, so it could be wet. I don't think it's going to snow, but it's going to be chilly rain in southern New England, only in the lower 40s tomorrow, and in northern New England it looks mostly dry, but then here comes the cold front with a chance of some snowflakes here. By the end of the day tomorrow, it's going to be turning much colder, 30s today and then 20s and falling into the teens late tomorrow if you're up in the mountains. And then Sunday, ooh, look at this. It is snowing up and down the Green Mountains on Sunday at 1 p.m. Yes, please. So any kind of crusty weather that's going to develop here, and they're going to groom it out, no problem. Groomers are going to be just off the charts, and that's going to turn into another few inches of snow for the mountains of Vermont on Sunday into Monday. This ends at 1 p.m., so it doesn't go much past that. And then it really gets tricky for next week. We've been going back and forth between which model to use. And the Euro yesterday had a fantasy monster storm in the Gulf of Maine where 12 hours later, the same model had, just beautiful high pressure next weekend. Something's got to give, right? The GFS has been fairly consistent. I was tempted to use the Canadian because of the Arctic outbreak in Canada that's going to occur next week. And I think we're going to go with the GFS because it also has the Arctic outbreak and looks a little bit more toward the Canadian of yesterday. So here we go. If you check all the models, you know what I'm talking about. If not, then here, just watch the GFS. And we have these systems coming into the southwestern United States. And there's a rule of thumb. If they come in near California, they probably go out south of you. And if they come in north of Washington State, then they probably go north of you. And we have both of them happening at the same time tomorrow. It's hard to look at both the West Coast and the East Coast at the same time, but the ones coming out of California and all that Arizona snowball energy is the one that's just going across southern New England tomorrow. GFS is now less bullish on a wet day in southern New England tomorrow. And then there's the cold air coming in here with the blue lines and an upper level trough coming across the northeast tomorrow night and Monday. That's that little bit of snow there. And so now you have a system coming across near the Canadian border and another one coming through the southwest with more heavy weather in the western United States. Finally, the western mountains getting appreciable widespread snowfall coming in here about Tuesday or so. Same time, we have a wintry mix coming in now Tuesday late in the day and at night. There's a warm front coming at us. How warm it's going to get, I'm not sure, but it doesn't look that impressive for Tuesday night and Wednesday morning. But Thanksgiving Eve, we are going to get temperatures during the day on Wednesday up into the 50s, maybe 60 in parts of southern New England with the showers shutting off for a time. But then here comes the cold front on Wednesday night. And look at that. There could be some thunderstorms. Temperatures going to be spiking in the 40s all the way up to the Canadian border and then plummeting through the 30s, 20s, and teens late in the day on Thanksgiving. Rain will probably end as snow. Will it in Merrimack, New Hampshire? Where? If so, I win a bet. And if there's a snowflake anywhere in the Merrimack Valley on Thursday, I win a bet. And then we keep on going on Thursday night, and the cold air advection is here, and it is just air from northwestern and central Canada coming right across the Great Lakes with heavy, probably blizzard conditions on the shores of the Great Lakes, and those snowflakes are going to make it all the way to the coast of Maine on Friday into Saturday. Wintry winds are here the days after Thanksgiving. Black Friday could be a white Friday again in the mountains, and we have another major storm or a couple of them coming in off of the Pacific Ocean on next Friday into Saturday. Now we go out to Sunday. And what's that? Sunday is the 29th, I believe, November 29th. We stop it there, and I just can't believe how loaded for midwinter conditions this map looks. We get a deep trough in all of the western United States with just about all the mountains in the west from California up to Montana getting snow. And there is, if you look in the very far upper left, you can see the number 1054. That's about a 1056 millibar Arctic high pressure system, and that stretches all the way across Canada and down the east side of the Appalachians, even though you have the two low pressure systems, one in Nevada, another one in California, each sub 1,000 millibars, trying to push that warm air in our direction because it is high pressure in Canada and because those two lows are such low latitudes. In other words, they're not north of 40 degrees north. We may end up with coast to coast winter storms and blizzards to open up December, including New England. And if it does warm up at all here, it would be followed by some record cold. So it looks like much of North America, especially north of, say, 30 degrees north latitude, could have one of the coldest openings to November on record. We've been talking about the winters of 1976 and 77. That was one of the harshest winters in our life, and it's been paralleling the snowfall depths here at Mount Mansfield. We've also been talking about 1968 and 1969, so it's starting to look more realistic, like we may challenge those winters for one of the harshest winters in our life here in the Northeast. All right, that's it for the weather part. The and more part features us hitting the road yesterday and saying goodbye to Steve and T-Rex. The T-Rex did not make the trip. Oh, we break for birds. There goes a raven. Can you see it? Did I get it? There it goes. And there's another one. Things come in waves. And while we've been talking, we've lost the sunshine. We are not going to see the sun again today. And we are going to get freezing drizzle on our goggles today. I have brand new goggles. I don't care. We're going to be there. It's going to be a kind of a party atmosphere. And so the And More also features some beautiful shots from Josh and company in northern Vermont yesterday with the blue sky and the trees all just plastered with rime ice. This is how it's going to look again when the sun comes back out, but I don't know when the sun is going to come back out again here in northern Vermont. We're not going to have the snow cycle we just had, but it is going to snow pretty much every day, at least a little bit, right in through the rest of the month, is my perception. And that's the sunlight reflecting off the windows at the Midway Lodge right there, so there's still a tiny bit of sun, but here's the yesterday's weather today, and more. And more. You know that one on the left, you know the one on the right? Gulf of Weymouth, T-Rex. It's the Gulf of Weymouth. And more here at 10 o'clock on our Thursday with some altocumulus. You know, Thursdays have been the days with the front. Now, I've already left Weymouth, if you're watching this, on a Friday. I'm curious. Of course, the tanker always draws me out. And we've had some interesting vessels going by. And there's always some kind of front on a Thursday. This is the least Thursday front we've had in a long time. Kind of a combination of warm air advection from the south and cold air advection from the north merging right over us. Overall, a nice day for travel. And hopefully everything went smoothly. I did have a plan and hopefully it worked out, and hopefully you're watching this and I am reporting from a mountain covered in snow.
I'm recording. You just go whenever you're ready, little guy. There's a little dinkle.
Yeah, that was rad though. Yeah. That was a nice line. That was pretty.
Recording.
Boot bag is ready to go. Steve getting some little bit of solar, has some solar energy. And we've got the second tanker in less than an hour. That's unusual. Welcome Oslo. It's Norwegian, Swedish, yeah. One of those, sorry, just making fun of Scandinavians. And just love the no wind part of this. Sky is not brightening up as much as I thought it would as we approach noontime, and I'm about to get in the vehicle and head north. Flat water. That's what happens when you have high pressure right over you. The air is kind of sinking and not enough to disperse these clouds. Well, it has a lot to do with the lowest sun angle of the year for the next 6 weeks. Let's go find a mountain. Let's chase. Let's go through the notch. Anybody refer to the notch? What notch? Smuggler's Notch. I'm not going to Franconia Notch. I was just thinking we were. Some notch. We're gonna hit some notch. Always a spectacle. You cannot not watch these things. Hello, Winthrop. I'm not gonna make the notch at all. We're on 89 in New Hampshire, but we do have a sun dog. We're a little bit late, or the sun's going down a little bit early. We got an elevation meter over there.
Yeah, rest area. This rest area is a sign of the highest point on 89, I believe, 1,400 feet.
1,400 feet. Good place for a scenic vista. So although we're not making Smuggler's Notch today.
Yes, and I should say highest point on 89 in New Hampshire, because we do go higher in Vermont.
And we did see little traces of snow on the ground. And we're going to see if there's any snow making going on at Whaleback, as that'll be our sunset pit stop, and we'll wrap it up there. Alright, there's a Whaleback over there, and the snowmaking has not begun yet. But they're ready.
Yeah.
Probably next week or so. There'll be white ground here for Thanksgiving. And Vermont's that way, but we're running out of time, so we're going to wrap this up and play some music here. And just enough sun. Here we're going up the hill, so we'll see the sunset again right here. We always stop here. I never knew the name of it. Evans. Good. I support the local businesses, but they make a lot of noise, so I guess we're going to have competition for the piano music. Just trying to get up here where there's some sunshine. Season of the long shadows. I haven't done a lot of training for skiing But when I do go uphill, I always lift my knees really high. It's about as much hiking as I'm gonna do. Get away from the noise, play the piano music. Sorry we're late today, but we had to go skiing. Yesterday's weather today. Sunset on our no front Thursday. We do have a front for our Friday. Is it snowing? Can I clean this lens? Yeah, clean lens makes a difference. And an aberration there on the right. Right there. What is that? Funny thing with the lens. So did I mention there's a new moon? It's called the cold moon. Full the first week of December. Come on, camera, focus. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all the comments. I know you're jealous because I'm skiing, but I'm paying my dues. Thanks for all the views. Talk to you tomorrow. And we are in Vermont. First time since April. The river was raging then. The river is raging now. Bonus and more.